a 360 view of 360 Wealth, and we're joined by two of Baird's technology solutions consultants, Andy Krogstad and Michelle Dowling. Today we'll have a lively discussion on an overview of BairdOnline and 360 Wealth, and we'll explore key features and functionalities available to you through the online platform. For those of you not familiar with Andy graduated with a Bachelor of Letters in Sciences with a focus in organizational professional communication from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee in 2010. Andrew currently holds his FINRA Series 6 and Series 7 and has been in the financial services industry for over 10 years, and 6 of those being here at Baird. For those of you not familiar with Michelle recently joined Baird after more than a decade in the industry. She was previously working at Morgan Stanley and Raymond James. And prior to transitioning to the financial services, Michelle was a high school English teacher. So welcome to both of you. Before I turn the call over to them, I just have a few housekeeping items to highlight. For optimal viewing, we'd suggest setting your layout to the side-by-side view via the circle in the upper right-hand corner. All participants are in a listen-only mode, but we would love to hear from you. So we will host a Q&A session at the end of today's webinar to address any questions as time permits. You can submit a question by clicking on the Q&A icon on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Just please be sure to address your questions to all panelists. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available along with the slide deck through your Baird Financial Advisor in about a week following today's call. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Michelle, Andy, for being here. Andy, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Justine. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on what part of the country you're joining us from. As Justine mentioned, I'm Andy Krogstad, technology consultant here at Baird, joined by my colleague, Michelle Dowling. I'm based out of our Milwaukee, Wisconsin office. Michelle is out of Indianapolis. So today we're going to go through BairdOnline and 360 Wealth. So the agenda for today, we're not going to click through every single page, every single feature, but we're going to really highlight those key features that we think you'll benefit from. And then we'll look at 360 Wealth in the planning tab. And we're really going to encourage you, if you're able to log into your BairdOnline account and click along with us, that would be really beneficial. Again, if you have any questions, please use the chat. We'll save all those questions for the end and we'll get through as many as we can. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to Michelle.
Sounds great. Hey, thanks, Andy. All right, as Andy mentioned, we're going to walk through some of BairdOnline's key features initially. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to talk about your Home tab and Investor Research located under that. In your upper left-hand corner of your landing page, you will notice the home screen. So this screen is customizable. You can drag these tiles around. You'll notice we've located our portfolio summary in the upper left corner. On the right side, we have our investor research. Clicking on any of these links is going to take you into that area. And so right now we're going to look at the strategies piece by clicking on our market strategy link. Here in this market strategy, which changes weekly, you'll find investment research and US and other international market news.
Yeah, Michelle, for those of you on the call, if you've never listened to any of the strategies content, looked at the things that they're putting out, they do a really great job of taking these complex macroeconomic things and boiling it down to what does that mean for me as a client, as an investor. So again, that's available right through your home button on BairdOnline. So if you haven't looked at that before, highly recommend you do. Again, they're putting out really great content on a weekly basis.
The next tab we'll look at is your My Portfolio tab, and in particular, Portfolio at a Glance. So under My Portfolio, you'll find Portfolio at a Glance, and this is a great page to really kind of give you an overview of what your portfolio looks like. At the top of this page, you'll notice your day movers. So those are indicated by their up or down position by green or slightly red color. If you hover over any of that information, it's going to pop and give you specific information about that particular holding. As we scroll down on this page, you'll notice that you have a portfolio value chart. Notice there underneath portfolio value, you can change your time range. You can look at 1 month, 3 months. In this particular situation, we're looking at our 18-month view. Now, one thing you may not be aware of, this chart is actually interactive. So if you hover over any area of the chart, it will give you that specific day value.
Yeah, Michelle, and if you everyone notices in that lower left-hand corner, you've got that thumbs up icon. You'll see that several times throughout the presentation. So we tried to highlight things that we'd consider kind of tech tips or hidden gems, so to speak. So just features that may not initially appear as if they're there, like the hover over on the graph in this example. So we'll point those out as we go through, but keep an eye out for that thumbs up icon as we move through the presentation.
Scrolling down on this page yet further, we'll find our asset allocation. Now up there in the right-hand corner, you'll notice that we can switch between asset category and asset class. If I click on asset class, it's going to dig a little deeper into what my portfolio is made of. And again, another one of those hidden gems, you might not be aware this is interactive as well. If you click on a particular piece of that chart, it's going to give you information about the specific holdings that make up that particular asset class.
Yeah, and Michelle, one of the themes that hopefully you'll notice throughout the day is BairdOnline has a lot of customizations in terms of how you see and view and digest information. So some of you on the call may be in that more broader category. Just show me my equities and my fixed income. Others may like to dig into those details and look at your asset classes, large cap, mid cap, small cap. So depending on how you like to consume that information and interact with BairdOnline, you have a lot of options at your fingertips. So as we're navigating through, we're going to point out those areas where you can kind of customize and tailor that experience as you're navigating the online platform.
Also, I'd like to point out that within many of the pages of BairdOnline, you have the opportunity to look at all of your accounts. You can look at individual accounts, or you can create an account grouping. If you simply select that pencil icon, you'll notice that it allows you to create a group. Selecting create a group then gives you the accounts that are available. In this particular instance, I just want to select Karen's individual accounts to create a new group. I name those Karen's accounts, and you'll notice now when I select that drop down again, I have a group called just Karen's accounts.
Yeah, and Michelle, this is a really great feature. So if you find as you're navigating around BairdOnline, you're constantly toggling between a couple of your accounts to see information, or you've always thought, I'd like to group a few of these accounts together. Those groups will flow through several of the pages on BairdOnline so that as you're navigating around, you're really seeing the information for the accounts that you want to see. So if you haven't used that grouping feature before, definitely give it a shot. Really easy to do. There was a little star icon where you can actually set a group as your preferred favorite. So if you haven't used that, highly recommend you do. Again, there's that thumbs up icon in the lower left-hand corner.
Great information. Thanks, Andy. Now let's look at my portfolio, and in particular under this tab, the performance section. Again, we're still within my portfolio, but now we've gone toward the right-hand side to performance. When I click on performance, notice again, I have the option to choose which accounts I'd like to view. And on the right-hand side, I can choose which timeline. So more recently, we've allowed you to see as of previous day. You can also look at as of previous month's end. As we scroll down on this page, there's additional information, again, in grid format. It's going to show you your accounts, their performance start date, their 1, 3, and 5-year performance, or since start date. Now let's look at your account details tab and positions. Within positions, you have the ability, again, to select which accounts you'd like to view. And something unique to the position screen, you can actually select which type of account you'd like to view. So here you've noticed I've selected fixed income, and now it gives me a column, asset classification, down below in my grid that shows just my fixed income information. If I want to view my asset classes grouped accordingly, I can just select asset view, and you'll notice that my equities category has filtered to the top.
Yeah, Michelle. So again, it just depends on kind of how your brain works and how you like to see that information. On that first tab, it's adding the asset classification as a column. In this example, when I click over to asset view, it's grouping those into a particular bucket. So I'm a very visual person, so I actually prefer the asset view because I like to see all of my equities bucketed together, and I like the color coding that goes with it versus necessarily just seeing that information as a column. So again, being able to consume the information the way you want to see it, you have a lot of great options through the online platform.
Another feature on this page is when we're viewing all accounts, if we click on that plus icon, it's going to expand our information and show us what accounts have that particular position. Likewise, if we click on that green icon just to the left of the ticker, it's going to give us a very quick way to get into research, charts, or one of my favorite pages, the My Position Zoom. Now here under My Position Zoom, this is specific information for your portfolio. So it's going to show you what quantity of this particular position you have. It's going to show you your unrealized gain and loss. And there's even information about any orders you've had for this position.
Yeah, so again, Michelle, if this is some information that is of interest to you and you like to see and kind of dig in and get some more details around your positions, around your accounts, keep an eye out for that green box. That's a little flyout that'll give you a lot of additional options to quickly jump to additional features across the BairdOnline platform.
All right, now let's talk about our investing tools under Investing Tools tab. So again, lots of good information out here. You have US markets, you have news about the markets, but I want to point out our Baird research. If we come in here and just type in a ticker symbol, here I've selected Apple, I click search, and the results are going to show down below that will be specific to just Apple's research. If I click on any one of those headlines, it's going to produce a really nice PDF that is a great snapshot of our award-winning Baird research.
Yeah, again, some of you on the call may never read a research report on a particular position. Others may love to read through these. A great benefit of being a Baird client is getting access to that research that we're doing here at Baird on these various companies. So again, right at your fingertips, being able to log into the online platform, search for those securities that you want to pull up, get the information the way you want to see it. If you haven't read through these, but it's something that's of interest to you, definitely take advantage of that benefit.
Account services and account access. So a common question we get, Andy, is there a way for me to share my individual accounts with my spouse or with another family member?
Yeah, we get that. You're right on, Michelle. We get that question all of the time, and I'll use my own personal example. So I have accounts where I'm the primary owner. My wife has accounts where she's the primary owner of. We both have our own BairdOnline logins. BairdOnline makes it really easy to grant access and share those accounts with those different BairdOnline clients. So it's as simple as clicking the Share Account Viewing button, putting in the email address. So if I was sharing accounts with my wife, I'd put her email address that's associated with her BairdOnline accounts. You still get to pick and choose which accounts you share, so it's not an all or nothing. You still control if you want to share all of those accounts or just some of those accounts with that individual. Next, you're going to send them an email verification. So my wife, she'd get an email that says, hey, Andy's sharing some accounts with you. Click this link to verify. And after she does that, every time that she logs into BairdOnline, she's not only seeing her accounts, but the accounts that I've shared with her, and then vice versa. So my wife shared her accounts with me, so that either one of us, no matter who's logging in, we're getting that consistent experience, seeing the information, seeing the accounts the exact same way. So again, if you haven't used that feature, or if you've been looking for a way to share accounts between, again, the number one example here at Baird is husband and wife or spouses that want to share information back and forth, but it can really be shared with any other BairdOnline user.
Great, great information. Another feature under the Account Services tab is the ability to nickname your accounts. So again, under Account Services, Account Nickname, you're going to have a list of your account numbers. You can come in here and give them a name that makes sense to you. Nobody can remember account numbers. It gets very difficult. Come in here, add those nicknames, and anytime you see an account number, you're going to see an additional column now that shows your nickname for that account.
Yeah, Michelle, I'll raise my hand. I'm in that camp. I don't know any of my account numbers, nor do I necessarily want to, but it's really helpful to go in and just put the account name that I want to see, so that as I'm navigating through the online platform, clicking on different tabs and areas, I can now immediately know exactly what account I'm looking at based on that name that I've given.
Okay, account services and e-delivery preferences. Of course, e-delivery preferences are part of our Go Green campaign, just a way to save a little bit of mailing through physical mail through the US mail system. Come out here, you can set up any of your account documents for e-delivery. So new this year, you can actually include tax documents. Everything can be completely paperless. You notice you can pick and choose which type of communications you'd like, or up there in the upper left corner, just under your accounts, you can go all paperless for all accounts. One thing I'd like to point out is thanks to you, our clients, we were able to eliminate 2,700 pounds of paper mailings this past year. So that is the weight of 3 grand pianos or your favorite NFL team on the field. So a lot of weight there. Thanks for helping us save those paper.
Yeah, Michelle, I'll add too, because I'm guilty of this as well. If I'm getting something in the mail and maybe I open it and I glance at it and then throw it right into the recycle bin or shred bin, being cognizant to go in and update e-delivery preferences when you can. Obviously, we understand there are certain situations where you need to physically receive something in the mail via paper, so we won't steer you away from continuing to do that. But if you do find yourself just immediately recycling something and not saving it or using it, e-delivery is a great option.
All right, documents and document exchange. So within your documents tab, again, this is where you can find all of your previous client communications, your statements, your tax documents. If you're part of our money management program, you can even get check images there at the bottom. But one thing I would like to know, Andy, can you tell us a little bit about document exchange?
Yeah, document exchange is a great alternative or option that you have to secure emails. So our advisors have the ability to exchange and upload documents to your online portal securely. You also have the ability to send documents right back to your financial advisor through the online portal. It's as simple as clicking on the green button to upload a document. You can do a simple drag and drop, or you can search for the file or files that you want to upload. In this example, if I want to share this weekly market notes and then a strategas piece, there's also an option at the bottom of the screen to add additional notes or commentary. I click upload. It immediately sends a notification to your advisor saying, hey, I just shared a document with you. Or if your advisor shares something back with you, you get an email saying, hey, Andy just shared some documents with you. Those are available on the online platform for up to 90 days. So you can go retrieve them, save them, print them, whatever you need to do. You can grab them right from there. But a really great alternative to secure email, which your advisor certainly has the ability to do. But since you're already able to log into your online portal with your username or password, it just makes it really easy to exchange those documents. Another common question we get, it is tax season, it is tax time, everyone's favorite time of year. When will our tax forms be available? So all your historical statements or historical tax documents will be posted and saved out on the online platform. But if you click on that blue link, it'll actually take you to kind of what our mailing deadlines are. So we just went past February 15th. Many of you will be receiving, if you haven't already, your tax forms either in the mail or they're posted to your online portal. Otherwise, we're hoping to have all of these wrapped up by March 15th, just depending on your account type and the underlying transactions, determine which wave you'd be included in. But if you wanted to get more information through online, click on that link and it'll bring you to this document. Your tax document information is also available to use with TurboTax, as well as exporting information to an Excel or CSV. So if you're one of those individuals that is doing your own taxes, a lot of really great options in terms of gathering that information that's on that 1099 and using it in those particular softwares.
The settings icon. So in your upper right corner, you'll notice that you have the ability to control some of your settings. Again, lots of good information out here, but one of my favorite areas within the settings tab is the ability to set your preferred start page. So when you log into BairdOnline, you likely are landing on that home page there in the extreme left-hand corner. But if you click on preferred start page, you have the ability to choose any BairdOnline page to land on. So maybe you'd like to see your performance search. You can simply come out here to My Portfolio, performance, select that as your preferred start page, and the next time you log in, you will come directly to that page.
Yeah, Michelle, we all like to save clicks, myself included. So if you find you're logging in and immediately clicking to a different page versus that home button, go ahead, come into your settings, set your preferred start page, and it's just going to take you directly to that information that you want to see without having to click to get there. So take a look at that option. If you find yourself always navigating to the same page, it'll save you a few clicks over the course of the day.
All right, and with that, we're going to begin talking about 360 Wealth and Planning. And Andy, I apologize, I'm going to have you take it from here.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Michelle. So 360 Wealth, which is the tab on the far right-hand side of your login. First question is, what the heck is 360 Wealth? So 360 Wealth allows you to link accounts held outside of Baird and integrate those into your online platform so that when you log into BairdOnline, you're not only seeing your accounts held here at Baird, but any of those external institutions that you've linked. So we work with over 15,000 financial institutions, and each time you log in, it's going to dynamically update and refresh that information based on that account that you have linked. With that, at Baird, security is definitely one of our top priorities. So your information is always encrypted and secure. Your credentials are not accessible by any person. And then we really pride ourselves on using the best-in-class principles for privacy and security. If you did have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to the BairdOnline service desk or your financial advisor if you had any additional questions around security.
All right, it's 3 easy steps to enroll in 360 Wealth. So let's talk about how to do that. So if you are an existing BairdOnline user, hopefully you've noticed on the right-hand side of your screen, your 360 Wealth and Planning tab. The first time you will open that, it will ask you site selection, which financial accounts would you like to link? So you'll notice we've got kind of the common banks there on our front page. We've got Principal, Fidelity, Bank of America. But if you don't see your institution there, as Andy mentioned, we have over 15,000 financial institutions linked. You can simply begin typing and search for your financial institution. In this case, I went ahead and searched for safe credit unions. Yes, even local credit unions are part of our 360 Wealth platform. Just go ahead, add your safe credentials. That's the username and password you would use to log into Safe. Click Submit. It will bring up the accounts that are available to sync with 360 Wealth. You'll simply choose which you'd like to link, or you can choose all of them. Click Save and Finish. I'd also like to point out that in addition to financial institutions, you can add other assets that are outside of financial institutions. In fact, you can add liabilities. So I would encourage you to come out here, click on these links. You can add real estate. Your home is probably one of your largest assets. You can also manually add other assets, maybe other financial institutions, or really things such as art collections or car collections that have quite a bit of value, but they're just not linked to a financial institution. You can manually add those.
Yeah, Michelle, I'm going to dive into the overview tab within 360 Wealth. So as you link an account or accounts through 360 Wealth, the overview page does a really nice job of summarizing all of that information. So down the left-hand side, you can break out the different types of assets and accounts that you've linked. A nice net worth statement. So Michelle just mentioned, let's say you did have a car collection and you do consider that a part of your overall net worth. One of the benefits of 360 Wealth is you're able to look at that information in one place, and then it'll track, especially with your linked accounts as it's refreshing, that change in net worth over time. As you scroll down the page, you're going to get a nice snapshot of the overall asset allocation based on the accounts that you have linked, including your Baird accounts. Also, there's a spending feature, which we'll dive into in a moment, which is tied to the budgeting feature as well as cash flow. So it gives you a really nice overview and snapshot based on the accounts that you have linked, getting this high level information. But as you'll see in a moment, you can actually drill down and get additional details on these different sections.
360 Wealth and Planning transactions. So I would like to point out that your transactions are unique to you. No one else can see these. They're not available to be viewed by any of your financial team. One thing I love about the transactions tab, is that in addition to choosing which accounts you'd like to view or which time frame you'd like to view them in, you can actually choose to view accounts by category. So as an example, if I would like to see what I've spent at home improvement retailers, I simply click on my home improvement category, and you'll notice my results are now filtered so I can see where I've spent money on home improvement at retailers such as Lowe's and the Home Depot.
Yeah, and Michelle, where you really start to see the power of 360 Wealth is, let's say you had spent those dollars at home improvement stores or Home Depot from different accounts. Well, without 360 Wealth, you'd have to log into each one of those institutions and review your transaction history. Pulling those all together in 360 Wealth allows you to see that in one place. So just makes it an efficient way to view all the different things going on within your financial picture.
Let's talk about 360 Wealth Spending tab. So under the Spending tab, which is one of our most popular features in 360 Wealth, you can look at your expense income analysis, your cash flow, and you can set up a budget. So under expense analysis, you're going to see a chart at the top that shows all of your outgoing expenses for your time period. As you scroll down, you're going to see transaction information about those expenses. Similarly, when you click on income analysis, you're going to see a chart for all of your income spending, and down below you can see your transactions. In cash flow, you're actually seeing a comparison of those two side by side. So your spending versus your income, and again, down below, we'll see information about your transactions for whatever time period you've chosen. Now, I'm going to ask Andy to talk about budgets.
Yeah, one of my favorite features, personally as a client of Baird, as well as the budgeting feature. So if I think back to maybe 10 years ago, and maybe a lot of you can relate, is trying to maintain and keep a budget in an Excel spreadsheet. So if I think back 10 years ago when I was in college, when it was just myself and I had one checking and one savings account, it was pretty easy, pretty straightforward. In the last 10 years, I've gotten married, I've got 2 kids, so my financial picture has gotten a lot more complicated. So logging into different websites, extracting information, putting it into an Excel document, and updating that month over month is something I do not want to do anymore. So within 360 Wealth, you can actually go ahead and create a budget. So you can assign roughly how much you'd want to spend in a particular area, say home improvement or restaurants, healthcare, personal, family. And then based on the accounts that you have linked that are going into that budget, you can actually track month over month. Are you exceeding that budget and spending more? I know we just went through the holidays, so a lot of us probably exceeded our normal monthly budget, or are you saving a little bit more than you thought? Again, the budgeting feature is just a really great tool to be able to take those complex things, a lot of times transactions coming from different accounts, and boiling it all down into one location that you can access through BairdOnline. And also, as you're navigating 360 Wealth, keep an eye out for that feature tour button. This will actually jump you around the page and tell you exactly what you're looking at. So if you're not sure, what does the notifications actually display? When you click on the feature tour, it's going to give you a breakdown of the types of things you would see in that notifications window.
All right, let's talk about 360 Wealth settings. So again, in 360 Wealth settings, you have a lot of good information out here. You can establish and customize your account settings. You can create groups. But one thing I'd like to point out is the categorization rules. You'll remember under transactions, we talked about categories. Here's where you can help 360 Wealth appropriately categorize your transactions. So we had a real life situation where we had a client who had a deposit coming in from another institution. Because it was coming in from a federally insured institution, it came in labeled FDIC insurance. 360 Wealth inadvertently labeled this as an insurance transaction, but we were able to help the client create a category, said every time a transaction is labeled FDIC insurance, it's actually a deposit. You'll notice too that we can apply this rule to past transactions, so we don't have to go back and manually change everything. Previous transactions will be corrected, and going forward, they'll now appropriately flow into the deposits category.
Yeah, Michelle, 360 Wealth does a great job. If you can think of the millions and millions of transaction types that are out there, of putting those into an appropriate bucket. But again, going back to that theme of you can always control how this information is displayed. If you disagree with how 360 Wealth is categorizing a transaction, you can override that not only for future transactions coming in, but for all past transactions. So it's really simple, really easy to do. And again, if you ever had any questions on doing this, don't hesitate to reach out to our BairdOnline service desk.
All right, let's talk about the planning piece of 360 Wealth and Planning. So underneath your planning tab, you're actually able to communicate with your financial team, life changes, upcoming goals, anything you would like to send to them regarding your financial plan. You'll notice here in the upper right corner, you also have this Insights and Education button, which is great resources similar to our Baird research that's going to provide you financial planning resources and education information. If you have a plan here at Baird, you can click on the My Plan tab. You'll notice you'll have your scenario results displayed. You'll also see your goals as you've created them. Likewise, if you click on that upper right View Financial Plan Documents, you can view all of your documents. They're PDF-able, and you can go ahead and print those as necessary.
Yeah, Michelle, I'll also point out, some of you on the call may have had a financial plan run, others may not. As always, if you have any questions on planning, please reach out to your financial advisor, and they'll be able to assist you further.
With that, let's talk about some additional resources. Again, your best bet is to reach out to your financial team if you have any questions, but we also have a dedicated BairdOnline desk. And so we're going to get that slide up here in just a moment. In addition to our BairdOnline desk, we also have a BairdOnline demonstration, and that's at boldemo.com. And finally, you can always go to rwbaird.com to find those resources as well. Again, additional planning, information is available through our BairdOnline 360 Wealth Planning desk. With that, Andy, did you want to add anything else before we go to Q&A?
We're going to kick it over to Justine here for a second for some wrap up. I'm starting to scroll through some of these questions, so we'll get through as many as we can.
Great. Thank you so much, Michelle. Andy, to your point, I do see a lot of questions coming through, but I will remind everyone, if you do have a question, feel free, throw it in that Q&A box on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, and we'll take a little bit to kind of go through some of these. So with that, Andy, you see any that are coming through that you want to address right away?
Yep, give me 1 second here. A lot of great questions coming in. So one was, can you show where to locate that research tab again? So there's 2 places you can do it, either on the home button on the far left-hand side or under the investor tab in the middle of your BairdOnline. So if you can, if you're online right now, click on that tab and they'll be able to pull up all those different research pieces there.
So I see a great one here. Can credit cards be connected to 360 Wealth? Yes, let me just affirm that it's not just financial institutions and your assets. You can link any liabilities as well. So credit cards, mortgage loans, car loans, all of those can be synced into 360 Wealth.
And here's another question, Michelle. I think this is tied back to the account sharing or account viewing access. So it's, if you don't share all accounts with your spouse, will they be able to see a summary of all accounts or only shared accounts? So those individuals would only see the accounts that you've shared with them. So again, if my wife and I, we both have our own accounts, by default, when you log in, I'm only going to see mine and she's only going to see hers. If we were to share those accounts with each other, now going forward, every time we log in, we'll see not only our accounts, but any of those accounts that you've shared with that individual.
So I see one, what if my expenses don't fit into standard categories? So again, under those 360 Wealth settings, you have the ability not only to create categorization rules, you can create categories, you can rename categories, you can create subcategories under your existing categories.
All right, see another question here. Do I automatically have a BairdOnline account? If so, how do I log in? If not, how do I create one? So you will have to create the login the very first time. So if you've never logged into BairdOnline before, it's a really simple 4-step process. First, you'd enter your email address that we would have on file for you, and then it'll walk you through creating a username, creating a password, setting up your security questions, picking your e-delivery preferences, and then you'll be logged in. If you think you may have logged in the past, but aren't really sure what that username may be or what that password would be, right on the online login page, there is going to be a forgot username password option. That's a kind of a self-serve, so you can reset those or reestablish what those are. Or if you're just totally unsure or whatever you're entering isn't working, the number on that screen will direct you to our BairdOnline service desk, and a member of that team will be able to help you get logged in as well. So if you haven't gone through that login process, again, you do that initial registration. If you have but maybe forgot what that information is, either using the online option to reset those or calling the BairdOnline service desk would be your two best options.
Andy, on that note, do they just go to bairdwealth.com, or where do they get to the BairdOnline home screen?
Yeah, if you go to bol.rwbaird.com, it'll take you right to the main login page for BairdOnline. Michelle, do you see other ones that you want to
I do see a question. I apologize. I was reading through. So one question came through is just to confirm transactions from my checking and credit card accounts will flow in. Yes. So what you are syncing to 360 Wealth is as if you were viewing that on that financial institution's page. So anything, any of your transactions will flow in and you will be able to view them as dynamically as they occur on your home financial institution.
Just reading through here. So can linking an outside account assist in facilitating a transfer of those assets from that external institution to Baird? So linking those accounts, your advisor actually has the ability to use that in the planning process so that they can then help if there's a consolidation that needs to happen, things of that nature, will assist in that process through your team. You'd still work through your financial advisor, still work through that team to actually transfer those assets, but they can start to use that from a planning perspective on how they would incorporate those assets here at Baird.
Andy, on that front, Michelle, to your previous comment before, can my advisors see all of my transactions that I'm doing, or how does that work? What do your financial advisors see on their end?
So
Again,
they can,
that's,
oh,
sorry,
I can
Andy,
finish
go
one,
ahead.
Michelle. Yep, so they can see asset allocation, value, positions, but we cannot see transaction. That is specific to you logging in with your username and your password. So only you can see those individual transactions. We can just see those higher level buckets of dollar amounts, positions, values, things of that nature.
So I see a great question here, Andy, and I think you had mentioned it, but regarding BairdOnline, is the information real time?
Yes, so for your like equity position, so your stocks, as an example, take Apple, which is trading throughout the day. Those will be updating near real time, so they're on a 15-minute delay. So you would see those constantly updating over the course of the day. Mutual funds or other positions that only value themselves once the day of business has closed. Depending on when that institution provides that new value, you should see that update later in the evening after market close. It's tough to put a specific time frame on it because we are relying on those mutual fund companies as an example to provide that information, but during the day, your values will be updating near real time.
So here is a question that's come through from a 360 Wealth user. So they say that they're getting a attention needed symbol next to some of their accounts. What that simply means is for security purposes, a lot of times your password becomes stale. You just have to go into 360 Wealth and sync those accounts by updating your username and password.
Yeah, Michelle, I'll just add to that too. So those are the third-party institutions. So if I link my Chase account as an example, that institution may require that I re-authenticate or re-verify those credentials after X amount of time. The good news is on that front, our vendor, which we use a company called Yodely for 360 Wealth, is continuing to work with financial institutions to improve that overall process through a feature we call Direct Connect, which once it establishes that connection, really reduces the number of times you would ever have to re-authenticate those credentials. Chase was actually one of the first institutions that went live with that back on May 25th of last year. I can personally say, because I did have a Chase account, that I linked it as of that day. And as of today, that connection, I've never had to re-authenticate it. So we're going to continue to see that roll out across the various institutions. That's a project that is being worked on through 2022 and 23 and beyond, just with the number of financial institutions out there. But you'll automatically be prompted if that new connection becomes available. So when you log into 360 Wealth, you'll see an icon that says, hey, this institution is eligible for that direct connect. You'd re-enter your username and password, and then you're going to get that more stable connection in the long run. Or if you're registering an account for the first time and it's available, it's just going to prompt you right away to do that. So look for that to continue to evolve and improve over time.
I have a question I'm going to address. Can I add an HSA account? Yes, you can. If you have an online password and you log into that account regularly, you can likely sync that with 360 Wealth. Just go out there to that search icon and search for the financial institution and you can link those. Andy, I'm going to shoot a question over to you. Can I see this information on my iPad or iPhone?
Yes, so if you log into bol.rwbaird.com on that mobile device, you will see not only all the pages on BairdOnline, including 360 Wealth, you would see all of that information. We're currently working on an upgrade, an update to our app, because today 360 Wealth is not available on the app, like through the App Store, but we're looking to have that available later this year, which will include all of the features of BairdOnline, and then long-term some additional enhancements that we're looking at as well. So keep an eye out for that as we head through the year. We'll certainly have a lot more communication around that as we get closer to a go-live date.
Andy, on that note, I see a question came through. When will we have facial recognition? Will that come with the app upgrade?
Absolutely, yes. That'll be day one when the app goes live of that face or touch ID, depending on the type of phone that you have.
Somebody asked just to confirm where they can set their preferred start page. Again, that's in your settings icon in the extreme upper right corner of the header bar in BairdOnline. You can click on that, lots of information, your password, your user ID, security question information, and also the ability to set your preferred start page.
Justine, can you just reiterate when this presentation and recording will be available again?
Absolutely. So we do have to get it compliance approved, but it will be available through your Baird financial advisor about a week following the call. Sometimes we'll get it back sooner, but we always typically say a week, or you can go on bairdwealth.com under Wealth Strategies, and it will be posted there as well.
I've got a good question here. So setting up the categorization rule on transactions, the question is how far back will that go? Is there like a 90-day or 1-year time period? It'll go as far back as 360 Wealth has those transactions. So when you initially link an account, depending on the institution you're linking, we can potentially get a 90-day snapshot prior to that initial linking date, and then every going forward, it'll continue to accumulate those different transactions. But whenever you run that rule, however far back we have that information, that's how far back that rule is going to apply.
Again, regarding categorization, yes, you have the ability to rename categories. You have the ability to create new categories and new subcategories.
Bear with me here. I'm just reading through here, making sure I'm not duplicating anything. Michelle, do you have one that you want to grab?
I apologize, Andy. I'm kind of looking through and We're not answering, obviously, we're not answering every question. Some are very specific to your financial situation. So we'll reach out, or we'll ask you to reach out to your advisor for very kind of account specific questions.
I see one more in here. Can I share an account with non-Baird account holders?
So there is a way to share third-party access. So a lot of times, maybe like a CPA or an accountant or an attorney would need it. Now they would still need their own BairdOnline login that they're able to get kind of a read-only access to the online portal. So if that's something that you need done, reach out to your financial advisor and they can assist you with the best way to do that. So depending on who that individual is and what kind of access they may already have or not have, they can really walk you through and facilitate getting that individual that needs that access if they're not your traditional, husband, wife, spouse type of scenario.
Andy, in the new upgrades that are being done, is electronic deposit one of those that is being addressed?
That's something that we're looking into. I don't believe that'll be live day one with the new app, but that's something we'll be looking to add as a follow-on for, think of like remote check deposit, where you can take a picture of a check and have that deposited into a particular account. That's something that the new app is certainly going to open the door for us.
A question about an existing financial plan. If you have an existing financial plan at Baird in 360 Wealth, you will have a My Plan tab. So go ahead and look for that. That's where you can find information, a broad overview about your financial plan, and then you can click to get the specific financial plan documents.
I do think you guys answered most of them in here. Is there anything else that you guys are seeing come through?
Just reading through, they continue to kind of come in here. And like Michelle mentioned, some of these questions are specific to you as an individual, as a client. So if we're not answering your question and you wanted follow-up, as Justine mentioned, please reach out to your financial advisor or the BairdOnline service desk, and we'll be able to take a look at those specific situations for you. Michelle, anything else that's jumping out at you?
No, I think we pretty much, like I said, it keeps kind of bouncing back to the top, which is why it's a little hard to see everything, but I think I've looked through most. Somebody is asking, sorry, Justine, Andy, maybe you can address this. How often do we offer these Baird Wealth Strategies calls?
Yeah, so we do a client-facing Baird Wealth Strategies call every month. Specific to technology, we try to get them on at least once a year. However, if we have new updates such as the app rollout, things like that, we'll look to get them on more frequently. But they are hosted once a month, every third Wednesday of the month.
And then I did see one more question. It's how does 360 Wealth pull in transaction data? Are they only transactions that are electronically debited? What about checks, credit cards, etc.? So think of it, when you would log into that institution, whether it be a bank or credit card company, whatever transactions you would see in that login would be the types of transactions that would pull through. So if it's a checking account and whether you wrote a check or did a ACH withdrawal, we would expect to see those transactions both show up as withdrawals on the 360 Wealth side. So whatever you can see through that institution, you'd expect to see on the 360 side if you have that account linked.
Another question, sorry, just popped in. Do account groups include accounts outside of Baird? Yes, within your 360 Wealth icon, I'm sorry, your 360 Wealth tab, you have the ability to click in there and create account groupings as you do in the rest of BairdOnline. So in BairdOnline, you can see Baird accounts In 360 Wealth, you can create account groups for any of your synced external accounts.
Justine, maybe you can answer this one. Someone's asking, will their particular financial advisor or team be notified that they attended this session today?
Their financial advisor will have to email our team to get a list of clients that attended, but feel free, reach out to your financial advisor if you're looking for the recording or the slides, and they'll know who to contact. They can contact me, they can contact Corbin or anyone else on our team.
Perfect. Well, I think those are all the ones that we can, answer right now. Again, if you did have additional questions and we didn't get to your question, please reach out to your financial advisor to facilitate getting those answered. On behalf of myself and Michelle and Justine, thank you all for taking your time today to join our webinar. Look for additional Baird Wealth Strategies calls coming up in the future. They're always on a variety of different topics, but thank you once again, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andy, Michelle. Thank you for everyone who is attending today. Again, if you would like to review the presentation or share it with a friend, family member, colleague, the session is recorded. It will be available through your Baird financial advisor in about a week following today's call. If we were not able to address your question, like Andy said, talk to your Baird financial advisor. We'll be sure to get you in contact with the proper resource. Next month, we will host another webinar on March 16th on the topic of equity compensation. So look for that invite coming soon. But thank you all again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.